Good afternoon and welcome back to From Where We Are, stories of news and culture through the lens of USC and Southern California. I'm Ethan Huang.
And I'm Tiller Mills. We're coming to you live from Studio B in USC's Annenberg Media Center. It's Thursday, October 6th, 2022.
On today's show, tensions brew as North Korea boosts missile tests. USC uses picture books to bring STEAM education to children in South LA.
No, just seeing the joy on their faces is probably the best part of it.
And the LA Clippers pay a visit to the Galen Center.
All that more from Where We Are, after these news headlines.
From Annenberg Media, I'm Claire Fogarty. 37 people, mostly children, were killed in a Thailand shooting at a child care center. The lone gunman was a former police officer who had been fired and arrested for methamphetamine possession. The gunman shot himself before being captured by local authorities. A Delaware judge granted billionaire Elon Musk's request to delay trial for Twitter's lawsuit against him. The judge gave Musk 3 weeks to come up with the $44 billion needed to acquire the company. If he does not close the deal by October 28th, a trial will be scheduled in November, according to the judge.
I'm able to move the tabs
President
without...
Joe Biden announced today
it'll
on
keep
Twitter
playing,
that he
right?
is pardoning
Alright,
thousands of
wanna
federal
check,
offenders
because I haven't read
convicted
this.
of simple marijuana possession. In a 6-tweet thread, the president also called on governors to pardon simple possession offenses on the state level. Happy 142nd birthday, USC. The university was established today in the year 1880 and originally only had 53 students, a liberal arts college, a university band, and a debate team. Marion McKinley Bovard was named the university's first president, serving as professor of mental and moral philosophy and natural sciences. Those are some of the top headlines in today's news.
North Korea today fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles into the sea in the direction of Japan. This is the latest sign that the nation continues to develop its weapons program. This was North Korea's 6th missile launch in just the last 12 days. Earlier this week, North Korea fired an intermediate-range missile over Japan, prompting joint missile drills from South Korea and the US. Lu Tianwen has a story.
North Korea fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile over Japan this week. This was the first time in 5 years that North Korea has flown a missile over Japan. Many people in the north of Japan were ordered to take shelter. Derek Grossman teaches political science and international relations at USC. He says this week's missile launch by North Korea over Japan was not unique.
North Korea, unfortunately, has launched missiles over Japan now 7 times. This was the 7th instance. The first was in 1998. The one before this was in 2017, and in 2017, tensions between the U.S. / South Korea and / Japan and North Korea got really, really heated. And North Korea actually did its 6th nuclear test in 2017, and of course now we're worried it's going to do its 7th nuclear test in a matter of weeks, and so it seems like recent history is repeating itself.
Professor Grossman thinks Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, might be acting partly for petty reasons.
I think that at the top of Kim Jong-un's mind has got to be keeping attention, keeping focus, international focus on North Korea. And what we see now after Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a lot of the focus has shifted.
He recalls Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's trip last August, not to Kim Jong-un's country, but to Taiwan.
A lot of focus on that hotspot in Asia, a lot less so on North Korea. And the problem for North Korea nuclear arsenal. And we're saying you can't have both.
We're saying that. But is Kim listening? He's unpredictable. Will there be more missiles in history? as Professor Grossman says, will repeat itself over and over again. For Annenberg Media, I'm Lu Ting Wen.
Kanye West launched a collection at Paris Fashion Week that has sparked controversy. His new Yeezy line featured shirts that read, "White Lives Matter," which prompted the backlash. Kanye's fans aren't new to hearing about controversial actions taken by the artist, but some have decided that this is the last straw. This conversation sparks a broader question. Can you separate the art from the artist? Benjamin Papp prepared this report on Ye at Paris Fashion Week.
And everyone here knows that I am the leader.
Kanye West is surely not a stranger to controversy, from interrupting Taylor Swift's 2009 VMA speech to sporting a MAGA hat during the 2020 election. Many other celebrities have made questionable decisions that have affected their popularity, but have still been able to maintain large, strong fan bases. We asked USC students what exactly they thought about West's actions, and most importantly, can you separate the art from the artist? Jake Haviland, a sophomore majoring in international relations, said Kanye's actions have gone too far.
So I think, given the context of it and his history, and we saw him wear the MAGA hat, we saw him say a bunch of homophobic things, and never really apologized for that. And he's kind of, in the past couple of years, been saying some really problematic things. So I think, given all of that together, there is a really big issue with him saying and doing things and going unchecked by it, and I don't think that there's any justification of that in saying that it's art.
Haviland believes the art and the artist are one and the same, and instead speak to the creator's true character.
I don't think there's a situation where you have to separate the art from the artist, because it gets to a point where it's just that's just somebody being a bad person and intentionally challenging and saying provocative things, and that's not art at that point. It's not a statement, it's not part of his character. That's just him just being a terrible person.
Andre Rodriguez, a sophomore studying computer science, said that while the art is up for interpretation, the racial undertones of Kanye's messages are not.
Well, I think art can and should be anything you want it to be, but for something like that, he has to have one miracle of a reason to explain it, and if he's not going to provide a reason, then he can only expect the public to interpret it as it is, which is explicitly racist in the contemporary context of what that phrase means.
As critics have ramped up, West has only doubled down on defending himself online, claiming the shirt's meaning is cut and dry. For Annenberg Radio News, I'm Ben Papp.
Most people are familiar with the acronym STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Education, but add a simple A to make STEAM education, and you add into the mix Arts and Humanities. Now, USC faculty, staff, students, and alumni are collaborating to bring STEAM education to thousands of children in South LA communities, and they found a clever way to do it. Cassidy Roan has a story.
USC's joint educational project partnered with the nonprofit organization Room to Read to create the STEAM-powered Careers book collection. In this series of 10 books, 1st through 3rd grade students can explore topics ranging anywhere from polar science to virtual reality. USC JEP Communications intern Grace Galanti shares how the pillar of diversity extends through the subject matter of the books and into the actual characters themselves.
The really cool thing about these books is that they were specifically made for diverse audiences, because they want, the kids to see these scientists and these people in these fields that look like them and represent them. We want to show these kids that people like them from their backgrounds can go on and have these STEM careers. STEM, STEAM is for everyone.
In addition to a trio of diverse main characters that delve into the possibilities that STEAM offers, each book also features interviews with working USC scientists, including perspectives from those who have come from underrepresented communities in STEAM. A look into the daily lives of these professionals provides young students with an opportunity to see how their path to a STEAM career can be achievable.
I think your young years are very formative, and So instilling at a young age that, no, you are capable, you are smart enough, you can be in STEAM. I think that's something that when they're, in college or preparing to go to college, that's something that they might have in the back of their mind, that if they weren't introduced to that, they might just grow up and just think, oh, that's not for me.
Galanti was able to get a first-hand look into how the community enjoyed these books as students lined up on 32nd Street to receive them.
No, just seeing the joy on their faces was probably the best part of it.
As USC JEP continues to provide resources and curriculum to neighboring schools, the hope is to facilitate a positive change in the bond with the residents of the South LA community.
Well, we're lucky to go to school here. USC does not own South Central Los Angeles, and so I think it's important to remember, the community here and how we can best serve them.
USC JEP will be hosting school assemblies to introduce STEAM topics in addition to delivering books in 7 schools within the Los Angeles Unified School District. For Annenberg Media, I'm Cassidy Roan.
The exciting basketball season is back. The Los Angeles Clippers will visit the Galen Center this afternoon, marking the second year in a row that they have come to South Los Angeles for the event after the pandemic. Bo-Cheng Ah has the story.
This is the laugh of Kawhi Leonard during the Clippers Media Day. After amazing 476 days, the former NBA Finals MVP is back. Today, he will lead the Clippers at a scrimmage in USC's Galen Center. Curtis Jackson is the Clippers basketball communications manager, and he explains why the center is the court of choice for the Clippers scrimmages.
We've been doing this for a few years now. And this is basically just to give a preview to the fans of this year's team. Doors will open to the fans at 5 p.m. You'll be able to see, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, who's, just returning from injury, John Wall, who just joined the team as well. You'll just be able to come out and see those guys. And you can also RSVP for the open practice at nba.com/Clippers/open practice.
Talking about why Clippers want to play in Galen Center, computational neuroscience student Yao-Sen Ari has his opinion.
I think that the USC gym has a lot of importance to basketball here. I've seen a lot of pros training there before. DeMar DeRozan was just here. So I can definitely see why the Clippers would choose this as a good place to scrimmage.
The Clippers scrimmaged at the Galen Center date back as far as 2011, and this is the second visit by the Clippers to the Galen Center since the pandemic. It seems to have become a tradition, and a welcome one for USC students. From Annenberg Media, I'm Bo-Cheng Ah.
If you want to show off some of your dance moves, see creative dance performances, and celebrate the multiple forms of dance culture, then tonight's Kaufman Cypher celebration is the place to be. Jeffrey Lee has the story.
The USC Gloria Kaufman School of Dance is hosting a Cypher celebration today at 5:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Stemming from hip-hop and black dance practices, the celebration is described as
It's part Cypher, it's part live performance, it's part club, it's part theater, it's part performance art experiment.
That's Amy O'Neill, the director of Cypher Celebration and a lecturer in hip-hop, house, and contemporary improvisational dance. Annenberg Media spoke with her about the celebration.
It's a live event that's centering black social dance practices, specifically black social dance practices, specifically the Cypher, which is the circle, an improvisation or a freestyle ritual that is done in hip-hop, house, locking, popping, breaking, all the forms that come out of hip-hop culture.
While the event is inspired from a culture that appeared decades ago, this event is very new.
So Cypher Celebration was started fall of 2021 to give our BFA students an opportunity to showcase their freestyle Cypher skills, because most of our performance and forward-facing dance events are them either performing choreography from our well-renowned faculty or guest artists, or performing their own work. So people don't really get to see the artistry that they have in this other realm.
An event like this that draws inspiration from a minority group may sometimes toe the line between appreciating and appropriating the culture, but but O'Neill says this is not the case.
But with this event in particular, because we do so many different things, we want to center the Cypher as the main driving force of the creativity in the room. And all forms are welcome. If somebody wants to put their ballet shoes or their point shoes on and get in, they can. If someone wants to put their tap shoes on, they can.
At the event, there will be a live DJ and video projection and mixing. The audience is encouraged to move around the event in order to get multiple vantage points of the performance. For Annenberg Media, I'm Jeffrey Lee.
And that's all the time we have for on today's From Where We Are. Spencer Klein, Jeffrey Lee, Claire Fogarty, Daishalyn Satcher, and Lutien Nguyen produced today's show.
Jeffrey Lee runs our soundboard. Derek Renfro composed our theme music.
Follow us on YouTube at Annenberg Radio News and subscribe to From Where We Are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'm Taylor Mills.
And I'm Ethan Huang. From all of us at Annenberg Radio, wherever you are, we hope you'll join us again for From Where We Are. So this weekend's Trojan Family Weekend. Is your family coming to town?
Actually, after this show ends, I am on the way to LAX to graciously pick up my family because, as you know, it is peak rush hour right now, and it'll be fun. I'm actually really excited. If you see behind us, there's actually a bunch of parents walking by on campus, so it's been very, very sweet.
Yeah, it's great. My parents are local, so I see them, not too rarely. I see them every few weeks, so it's pretty great.
Right, so they don't want to see you this weekend.
But it'll be fun. It'll be cool. So,
I mean, you've had a parent come into your class this morning. Is that true?
Yeah, parents did come into my class and they started participating. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, my parents only pay my tuition. They won't be attending class.